G'day everyone, welcome back to Adelshoven. Happy New Year, we're in January. The snow has held off for the moment. It's just gone 7 in the morning, as you can see. Sun's coming up over there. And today, I'm not entirely sure what the day will hold. There's a long list of choices. If we have a look at the weather, I guess that's the most important. It's cold, but there's no snow forecast, certainly before lunch. It looks like there's no snow all day, so I think the key thing to do is we've got those 3 contracts. We need to get those sorted out, and I don't know if there's any more. We're quite well progressed on the ploughing contract, and yes, there's another in field 8. There's a cultivating contract. Now field 8's just to the north of where we're doing the ploughing, so I'm inclined, and particularly as we've got a tractor with that 3-metre cultivator on it, to just take this one and see how we go. So maybe that's the order of business. Let's we parked over here the other night. You can see the open air garden that we put in has already produced some potatoes and sunflower seeds. The plan for those is to use them as seed potatoes here when the planting season arrives in March. So that's looking good. We've got a little bit of wool. But without further ado, I think we should head up and get a worker cultivating this field. I'll just squeeze out here. Now field 8 is just over, if you can see the rock just over there in the distance, I think that's field 8. So let's head in here. Yeah, so field 9 is just to our left. So the plough should be sitting on that field, so we'll get that underway in just a second. And field 8 is just over there on the hillside. So with any luck, this should be a fairly straightforward proposition. And you can see our plough over there in the distance. So this is field 8 here. We might go to the other side. And I'm not even sure. Looking at this, it's just a straight square field. I think we might just try a regular worker and see how it goes without even enabling course play. So we'll just see if the regular worker can tackle this one for us for the minute. Get us underway. So we'll line up here on the side, put the cultivator down. And that sees us away. Excellent. So now if we run down the hill and jump in the plough, I think we can... it looks like it's almost up to the headlands, so I think the approach here might be like we did last time, to not worry about course play, trying to finish it off, and let's do the last little bit of this one ourselves. So we'll come across to the edge here. Well, we've got the plough on that side. We'll run across the headland at this end. Any luck, we should just squeak past that tree. Yes, I wasn't sure whether we were going to have snow today that would get in the way of what we're, well, of finishing this work. And I'm concerned that as we get closer to the start of the planting season, we would have limited opportunities, or the spring really, I guess, the spring planting season. We would have limited opportunities to finish these contracts, and I wanted to be in a good position to make sure that we've got the funds in place, that we can get our own field organised and add one to it, which is looking increasingly like the smaller of the two. I'm not sure if we'll be able to afford the bigger field. The bigger field runs to, from memory, 70,000 or so. Field 9. No, field 9? Let's see here. Field 9's 100,000. Field 11 is 70,000. And field 10 is 24,000. So worst case, I'm keen to buy field 10, which we would likely plant initially as a grass field, and then look to put a crop in it in the next, probably a grain crop in it in the next planting season. But we'll just see how all of that goes, not get too far ahead of ourselves. It's much easier when the light comes. That cultivating tractor is doing well up there on the hill. Turn this field back in from the edge. I'm quite pleased with that we've got some potatoes from the open air garden. My only concern with them is that playing on hard mode, it just feels slightly too prolific in production sense, but that can't be helped. I guess we've got to have some things going our way. Certainly, otherwise the prices mean that the pace of development gets a little bit slow, and it can be a bit of a grind. Sometimes it's, well, I enjoy playing a bit of a grinding game, but it doesn't necessarily make for the greatest viewing all the time, because there's more repetition, and so finding a balance, I think, is a bit of an art. And along the way, I'm also looking out for good mods that I can showcase and that make for, fit the story that we're building here, and make for interesting gameplay. And part of the reason for putting those potatoes in on a small field is I think we've had a few recently that suit that particular approach. So we'll see how they go. Grab those and bring them into play in the coming episodes. So here we go, we're up to 88%. Just getting the edge of this field sorted. Second headland, I think, could go very close to finishing the field off if we're lucky. I did set it for 3 from memory, so we may need to do a third. We'll just see how things go here. That cultivator's already taken care of 10% of field 8, so that's promising progress as well. See it hiding up there. From memory, that field in front of us runs to about 20 or 30 hectares, so it's a long field. I do look forward to an opportunity to buy it as this series progresses, but at 800,000 it's a few episodes ahead of us yet. So we're in the 90s. There's the cultivator is back down again. I do like the way the tractor bounces as it moves across the ploughed field. Really seems quite realistic based on the number of times I've been in a tractor of this size. Not being a farmer by trade. And certainly the tractors I most remember weren't as luxurious as these. It's all relative, I guess, to the era that you perform any job. One of the other jobs that I have on the list, which I was planning to do today if there was snow, but we'll hold till next time because I'm guessing we will get some more snow, maybe in February. It was to extend our auto drive course, make it a little bit more sophisticated and take care of the water refill for those greenhouses. So put another loop in, building on the one that we did in the last episode, but also a place to park the water tanker, and in order to get into the spot where the greenhouse needs to be filled, we'll need a section of reversing. So the plan is to set that up next time. So hopefully that'll be of interest to you, and we can do that while we really get all of the chores. We'll have some produce to move and sell, I think, and some things that we just need to get squared away, and some money in the bank, hopefully. So We'll just see how all of that goes. We're at 96% here. This, I'm pretty confident this little block in front of us, if we just plough that out, I think that'll go very close to meeting our commitment for this field, which is terrific. I quite like this this New Holland tractor. We might look at putting that on the list in future. I am looking forward to the point where we invest in a tractor for the long term. It'll supplement the one we're currently operating. Here we go at 98%. That would help if I didn't miss the bit on the edge there, wouldn't it? $99. One last trip across, I think. We'll have that under control. Field 8's already up to 20%. Line it up and down we go. Whoops. Slippery fingers. Any moment now that should pop. And there it is. So that's that field. If we go back to our contracts, field 9 is complete. We can actually collect on that job here. So let's go ahead and do that. And we've got one more ploughing contract on field 2. So we can drive over and take care of that one. I think the cultivating is going to go for quite a bit longer there. Right, fold this up. Before we get to the road. We can go in cab. I haven't turned the traffic back on. Now let's just have a quick look where field 2 actually is. Field 5, 4, 3, and 2. I don't think we've driven down this road here. In fact, we could do a bit of a circuit in past and just have a quick look at the main farm. I don't know what the cost of the... So the main farm would cost us 60 if we wanted to buy field 43 and that farm. So we might just drive through there on the way down the back of the map towards field 2. It's a nice clear winter's day. I'm quite pleased with how our yard's coming along there. Just passing on the left-hand side, I think that's the farmer's market. It is the farmer's market sell point just here on our left. Very conveniently placed. quite a wide verge to our right there. You might remember in the first episode, that's where we came and cut some grass. And just here is where the entrance to the main farm on this map would be. And it's that flat area over to our left. As you can see, all the buildings get removed when you start in farm manager mode. So all that's left is a paved pad. So an interesting prospect. I don't know if it's in our future or not. It kind of depends. I don't have a super long range plan. More where the opportunities take us and how the developments that we put in place, how they build out our setup. So we just play it by ear. So we're now coming down to the southern end of the map. There's some strips of poplar planted over there. And as we come round, this road ultimately leads around to the store. And the field we want is over to the right beside the grain mill. So I think there's a road that hits in past the olive orchard, which is, there's the olive orchard just to our right. It's all fenced nicely. And just up here, now if we go, well, we can go right to the end. There's a road through the olive orchard just there, but there's also a road at the end of the olive orchard. Round we go. That's field 4 on our left, and field 2 is right in front of us there. That's worked out quite well. This looks like another field that we can get done. We might do a lap to create a headland, and then leave the hired worker to progress this field. That should help us be sure that we're going pretty much due south. The hired worker shouldn't get into too much trouble on the field if we've cut the headland. It looks like there's a reasonable width around the and that's about the edge of the field there. Pull down, straighten up. There we go. A nice little dot right on the front of the bonnet. Makes it easier. The only challenge is when you're going downhill, the camera's rather high up in the cabin here. So it can be a little tricky to see out the front. Generally speaking though, we're in good shape. We're making good time through the day's activities. So I'm quite confident we'll get these contracts knocked over. Ballooning's not an activity I've taken on. I'm not a big fan of heights. It didn't bother me when I was a young fella, but as I've gotten older, I've been less and less enamored with them. And as a consequence, ballooning's one of those activities I haven't thought to try. I don't mind aircraft. But not necessarily all that keen on a balloon. Well, I think based on the progress and the fact that this will finish the headland, we can put a worker in and leave this one to its own devices. Go and see how we're going in the other field. Here we are back in the other field riding along with the cultivator. It's about halfway through. Doing a pretty good job of it. Well, that one's progressing through. I'm wondering what's in the shop today. So a weeder, potentially useful. We picked up a tedder last time. A baler. Now, that would be definitely useful. But a bit beyond our price range at this point. It's certainly something that we might look at. We also don't have a tractor that will generate the 250 horsepower we'd need, so that's something that might be in our future rather than the moment. And I don't think we need a portable slurry container at 55,000 litres just at the minute either, so we might leave those. So based on how this chap's doing and the fact that we spent quite a bit of the last episode cultivating, he's going to get hung up on that tree in the next lap, isn't he? So we might jump into the tractor here and do a couple of headlands across the top. Just because otherwise we're going to have to come back anyway. Here we go. Almost finished this field. Coming up to 99%. And the plough's been making good progress as well. I think by the time we drive down to field number 3, the plough will be just about done. We're in early afternoon, and my plan from here is just, there we go, to finish off this field and drive down to field 3. I will, in all likelihood, say goodbye to you on the way, and I'll finish off field 3 and collect the contracts, so that next time we're done with these activities and we're ready for sorting out our own materials, and in particular we need to get a couple of pieces of equipment so that we can move the pallets around. We also need a planter for those potatoes and for the grass fields that we hope to get. So that will take a little bit of organising, and depending on what the weather does, we should be able to get ourselves really set up for a fast run into March, which is when all the planting will go in earnest. So you can see on the right here, here's the grape fields. This is divided into several fields, and interestingly, the map maker's chosen to plant in sets of 7. So it really, apart from looking attractive, it's a really interesting layout, and perhaps once we've got some finances under our belt, we can branch out into grapes. The wine production, or the grape production, is just up the hill on our left-hand side here. So it's very conveniently located to the bulk of the grapes, and just a really pretty part of the valley. So that's where we're at. Another excellent day. The snow did stay away as forecast, and we've been able to take care of those contracts. We're sitting on 26,000. If we just pop into the contracts, I think I need to hold on to the cultivating. Oh no, I can actually collect on the cultivating contract that we've just done on field 8. So the equipment that we've got is part of the contract for field 3, which we're going to do in a minute. So we've got another $6,000 to collect, and that'll take us up to 37,000. So certainly should have enough to buy the smaller field when we get to the start of March, which is going to be another good step forward for us. And with the better weather that comes in the spring, we'll be able to ramp up our mowing activity to get the silage fermenting and collect a little bit more money that way. But in terms of today's episode, it's all gone very well. Really great to have you with me again. And until we cross paths next time, Steelhorse signing off. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. See ya.